2, 1.
They won't see your face.
That is one awesome soundtrack. I feel like I just am the last warrior standing out of some battle, and I've got to walk across Persia to get home.
Yes, home.
To Rome.
To Rome. To home.
We're Knifewear. This is Naoto. That's Kevin. He's our founder and CEO. My name is Mike. This is the Garage Sale Roundup. We started our garage sale this Monday. It started online at 8 in the morning, and then it ran through our stores. We're still going. We're still going right through until the 13th. But, you know, we still have some really awesome stuff left. We got a couple of new things that came in. We've got some very cool things we're actually going to launch. We have a knife left to raffle the chance to buy, a Shibata Tinker tank. We got some great stuff. We have cool knives from a local blacksmith as well.
Just say who we are, where we are, what cities we are.
We're Knifewear. We're Knifewear. That's Kevin.
No, you said that.
That's and we have cities. We have cities. We have stores. Do we have stores? We have stores. We have a website. It's called knifewear.com. And we have stores in Edmonton, Ottawa, Calgary, and Vancouver. They're all open right now. You can go and see them. Awesome. What now?
Can you buy online?
You can buy them online.
We have a website.
Where?
On knifewear.com.
It's the second time.
Say it again. Knifewear.com.
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 KNIFEWER.com. Here. So the this is our roundup. We have been doing this for a little while. We did the little bit of preview on last Friday. We did a marathon live stream on Monday. So this is kind of roundup to see, you know, showcase the things that we still have. There are some late arrivals that we can focus on, as well as some like super cool knives. I can see knives that's been wrapped in the newspaper right there.
I know. We got some very cool tanks for sure.
Yeah.
Don Penny, you know what, bud? You can buy these online. Don Penny, you can also go down to the shop that's in Ottawa.
Yes.
Or if you want to drive really far, you can go to the one in Vancouver. Or you can stop on the way and come to Calgary or Vancouver. We'd love to see you. It'd be fun, Don Penny.
Yeah.
Mike, you don't have to hear me. You know, if you drive from the Ottawa shop to the Calgary shop, 3 turns.
You only have to make 3 turns, apparently. If you leave the Ottawa store to get to the Calgary store, you only need to make 3 turns. So it's a very easy drive.
It only adds 2 turns if you're going up to Edmonton as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Really?
And the Ottawa
1,
store to Vancouver,
2. That's right.
2
Yeah.
turns. Walk back, turn left on the Trans-Canada, and then turn on Main Street.
Oh my God. We have placed our stores in very far apart, but in a very, very efficient way to get there. Well, that was, of course, it was intentional to do that. Okay, Naoto, what do we got, buddy? This is the garage sale. Runs until the 13th in store and online.
Yes.
Great deals. If you don't know what about our garage sale is, we bring really awesome knives from Japan all of the time. We stock really awesome things. They come and go. These are things that really are short term. We only get just enough for a couple of days or a week.
Yeah.
We often, as you might know, run out of stuff middle of the sale. Some stuff sells out in moments at the beginning on Monday. We have some great stuff left. Let's go through it. If you got some questions, hit us up and let us know. There is a question. Pop your questions in the comments. And
yes,
what is a knife? What is knife? Oh, wow. How many hours do you have? What is
it's
knife?
A spoon monkey.
It is what separates us from the rest of the animals, spoon monkey. And conveniently, it can help us to separate animals.
Yes. Anyways, well, here, well, some great deals for this garage sale. Like, we're doing 20% off Tsunehisa knives. There is actually a section that is called discounted section.
That's a great point to make. That's a great discount. That's great if you just want a cool knife, right?
Or the gift, you know.
Oh yeah, Christmas is coming.
Yep.
Yeah,
Christmas coming. Because
nobody doesn't like getting a new knife for Christmas.
I think it is like, you know, like in Calgary here in Alberta, you can kind of feel that the Christmas air, you know, like the little minus 20.
You mean the minus 20 freezing cold, covered in snow Christmas feeling?
But I've heard
that feeling?
It's coming in Ontario and the Quebec area as well.
Well, Chris in Ottawa was telling me he's riding his motorbike like 2 days ago.
Well, today we're going to talk about some of the, what do you have here? Do we talk about this first?
Well, yeah, let's talk about this because this is fun. And, we have another shop. You might not know this. We have Knifewear is our mainstay. We also have another shop. It's called Kent of Inglewood. Kent of Inglewood, you can find kentofinglewood.com. We have a standalone location here in Calgary. And it's been a great store. It sells a lot of cool stuff. Mostly it sells shaving stuff and beard stuff. It's a very cool place. We also get a bunch of cool knives there. We have some fun little pocket knives, and we have axes, and we have some interesting outdoorsy camping stuff. But actually, just on Friday, one of the guys that we get knives from, who's a blacksmith here in Calgary, dropped off a box of knives for us. And there's some really cool things, and we wanted to show them to you.
For those of you who watched the, I just bumped the mic, but for those of you who watched our preview on Friday, he was actually here on our show as well.
Oh,
his
he was
name
so
is
great
Chris
to talk
Green.
about. Yeah.
So those are knives that they made by hand forged here in Calgary.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of these knives.
Yeah.
All
There
right,
you go.
Here's a box of knives. Maybe I'll move some. This is fun. I thought we should show this too because he makes a certificate of authenticity with every one of his knives, and he signs it and the date, the steel, the name of the knife, the materials that you use, and he's got a little care letter. He's got a little tagline that says, it's a Norwegian proverb, a knifeless man is a lifeless man. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to lay them out. Why don't you pull them out and talk about them?
Me talking about these knives?
I know you can do it. Oh, I love this one. It feels so cool.
I have to find each one because each one's so uniquely made, right? Because the I have to see what the steel is made out of.
Well, you stood and talked. You talked with him for a while here. So why don't you tell us some of the stuff that he said about these knives?
Well, I basically talked to him about Japanese knives, and he gave me a little bit of. So here are some knives that I think mostly they are made with the ATCRV2 steel. With some are ironwood handles, and some are G10, which is the materials. I don't see G10.
Mono steel knives.
Yeah.
With differential hardness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The differential hardness. What he does is that he quenches the steel to make the edge quite hard. To have the edge, they have the edge. Because the knives, you need to have really hard. The steel needs to be hardened to be edged or be sharpened, right? But if it's just one piece steel really hard, it is really brittle. So what he does is that he calls it differential heat treatment. Japanese sometimes call it honyaki technique. He does use the little claying technique so that the spine of the knife, spine side, doesn't get as hard.
So it protects it during the hardening process. So the blade's still tough, but the edge gets hard enough that you can get a good sharp edge.
Exactly, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I know our man Nathan, who you can't see, he's behind the camera here. He has one of these. He's got it's a 10-inch blade. It's a massive knife. It's like a big Bowie knife. And I actually chopped a piece of firewood with it, and you could still shave hair off your arm with it. It was pretty intense.
He really
Come around, talking to the microphone. We're of course battling with our Rode mic situation again, but
Chris's knives are a fair bit different from Japanese blades in the sense that, like Naoto said, most of them are one piece of steel, differentially hardened. But he makes them a little softer than your average Japanese blade, but hard enough that they're going to hold an edge. So they maintain an edge really well, but they are super robust. Like you can, like Mike said, chop through pieces of wood or bone or really tough materials with them. He tests each knife by basically whacking the heck out of a 2x4. Sometimes some people, like for example, my father-in-law, get a Japanese knife and are expecting something like what they make on Forged in Fire. This is much closer to like what somebody would make on Forged in Fire. Obviously, a lot more time spent on this, but it has that kind of like combination of durability and sharpness. He tends to do a lot of like convex grinds too for increased durability, but still, a really nice fine edge on the knife. So they're pretty awesome. They're not really, I wouldn't use them for cooking, except for maybe campfire cooking, but for like bushwhacking or cutting kindling, that kind of thing, they're pretty awesome.
This is great. Like, bring it to the camping, bushwhacking, whatever.
Yeah.
And also,
Talk to your
if you have the piece of salami or something, these are
charcuterie board, steak knife. Yeah. You can find them at kennevingwood.com. There's a ton of other great stuff on that website. It's a great place for Christmas shopping too. If you know someone that shaves or has a beard, which is practically everybody, there's something there. There's really cool stuff. We like to choose really awesome things. So, let's talk about kitchen knives. What's left? What are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited about that. We need to talk about that.
We have a tank. We auctioned off. We didn't auction off. That's the wrong word.
Yeah.
We had a raffle on Monday. We had a couple raffles on Monday where we did a random number generator and we called somebody and said, hey, you get a chance to buy one of these really exclusive knives. For example, the Tinker tank. The Tinker is the company run by our good friend of ours, Shiba and Ikeda. And this is a tank. This is a super highly sought after knife. And we gave someone the opportunity to buy it and they didn't buy it. So we do have one left. And later in our broadcast here, in like an hour or so, we're actually going to generate another random number and draw another person's name. Yeah,
that's the thing, because you have basically how it works is that we generate the random numbers out of, we have probably had about over 500 people on the list.
Yep.
And that the person had the 24 hours to make a purchase or to complete the purchase. He didn't. So
I have a question.
Yes.
If someone's watching now and they hadn't put their name on the list previously.
No.
Okay. We will draw from our previously established list. That list closed at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So unfortunately, you cannot add yourself to that list now. But if you were on the list, you're still on it.
If you want to be on it next time, join our mailing list.
Well, for those of you who's watching right now, let's give those guys a little bit excitement about knives that they get to kind of have at it, I guess, right?
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. So those knives, because these knives, we just got the brand new knives in from the company called Tinker.
So we're gonna show off the Barracuda now.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just gonna. We can just show off and we can decide when to release it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can just show it off. So these just came in. These are called Tinker Barracuda.
Or Barracuda.
Barracuda.
Oh, they're so awesome.
It's the honest, this classic, the boning knife shape. This is awesome. It is not, sorry,
So cool.
for those of you who's watching, it is not available online yet. We will announce them, keep watching. We'll announce them, shortly. These will go in becomes available on the website.
If you're sitting here watching us right now, sometime in the next hour or so, we're going to flip the switch and we'll tell you when we're going to flip that switch.
Yeah.
And it will turn it on and you'll be able to buy it.
Yeah.
Currently they're on the website, but they are listed as out of stock. Shortly, we're going to flip the switch and they'll be in stock and then you could buy it.
Yes.
How much are they?
Link in description, but it is I believe it's a 540.
540, and you can click the link in the description and you will get dropped onto that product.
Yes.
That is a butchery knife.
Yes.
That is a super sweet butchery knife. It's a hard steel. It's a hard core. You wouldn't want to be trying to pop joints apart with torsion. That wouldn't be very friendly to it. I think something like pulling sinew off of stuff, skinning stuff, trimming meat, a little bit of that tunnel boning would be okay with it. It's not quite a needle like these silverthorn knives, but also taking apart a chicken, taking a fish apart, that nice curve to that shape, especially when you're trying to get out the rib bones. That's a butchery knife.
Yeah. This is forged by Takumi Ikeda-san with the Aogami Super core and the stainless cladding on the outside, and sharpened by Dashibata-san. It's fantastic. There's a question. What does it say?
John May is asking, ask now to explain the difference between the Saber Teeth 215, i.e., is this just a shorter version? So the Saber Teeth, that was a different different Tinker knife that we haven't seen for a minute. Could you compare the two?
We only had a Saber Teeth once. I believe those Saber Teeth is more Tsujihiki, a little bit thinner.
Yep.
Than this Barracuda Honesuki or the boning knife. It is a little bit thicker on the spine, so it gives you a little bit more structure or the durability at the heel. So this will be really good for butchery. the saber teeth, the 215 millimeter one, really, really good for, say, taking a, that was perfect knife. You remember the first day garage sale, we were talking about perfect knife to do the tenderloin with?
Oh,
that was
a perfect
knife for the tenderloin.
Yeah, 215 would be a great. Now I want to cut up tenderloins. I used to do that all the I know that?
Yeah.
It's my job. Cut meat all the time.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I wanna see the perfect, whatchamacallit, the I can't remember the name of it.
Chateaubriand.
Chateaubriand cooked in the
I'll
the
make
pie.
you beef Wellington.
Yeah.
Beef Wellington.
Yeah.
I'd make you Chateaubriand.
Awesome. So
Q&A time. Let's have more questions, everybody. We have answers. John, I hope that answers your question. John, I hope you enjoy your new knives as well.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we think about Tsunehisa knives? That's a great question, and we have a lot of thoughts about them. They're really, really well made.
Mm.
They're also very cool looking.
They are really, really well made knives. Like they mostly, it's either stainless clad or the carbon stainless steel. So it's easy to take care of. It's fantastic for the gift. On the first day, Monday, I actually get to help some of the packing the people to test the edges and check the edges on those knives. They're crazy good.
They're great. And you know what? One thing I like about Tsunehisa is that they use a variety of different steels, right? There's not just we use VG10 and we use AOS8.
Yeah.
Right. So they've got a variety of steels, and each one of those steels has different characteristics.
Yeah.
That's a VG10 knife. That's a Naoto's hand. That's a great knife steel. We have tons of knives that are made out of VG10. Some people are getting a little bored of VG10, but you know what? It's such a dependable, sturdy, easy to maintain, crazy good sharp knife.
Yeah.
And I mean, that to me, a VG10 knife blows so many other knives out there just completely out of the water for so many reasons.
Something similar to VG10 is this AUS 10. There's AUS8 that's a little bit more durable, a little bit softer, but the AUS 10 is really similar counterpart from the other steel manufacturer. But look at a stunning finish on this, like it's really hard to. But the Damascus,
it's like Whirlpool Damascus. It's very cool.
Yeah, like it's got a really nice Western European style handle to it as well. And also we have like carbon steel and stainless clad, like Aogami Super stainless clad with beautiful tsuchime. You
know what? That's what I would give someone for a present. I mean, Aogami Super is such a great steel. It's a carbon steel. It has an ability to rust, but pretty low. I mean, if you know somebody, if it's like your dad or a good friend, you can give them a knife like this and show them how to take care of it pretty easily.
And it's like $245, and right now it's just south of the $200 mark, which is Canadian dollars, by the way, for those who's watching from the United States or the elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So something like this, like very similar to this handle, but this one here is VG1 stainless steel. So it's a little bit more, it holds the edge pretty good as the VG10, but it's not as usually expensive as VG10. So this particular one here, originally $123, with 20% off, it's like $98. Tsunehisa VG1 Western Santoku. That's
a $98 knife.
Yeah, $98.
That kicks ass.
Yeah.
That's such a great little knife.
Yeah.
That would be a great starter. Sometimes you got someone who's moving out on their own, right? Need a good knife, but nothing too crazy.
And also, it does have the certain durability. Like most of these does have the certain durability compared to some of the really, really thin hand forged, hand sharpened, like the some knives.
Good for gifts. Naoto's got a cold. Not Naoto. That's Naoto. What's your name? Nathan?
Nathan. No, I just live in Alberta. That's what I'm afflicted with.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were just talking about these would be great for buying for people as presents, right?
Yeah.
So that's the good for gifts part, right? Yeah. Good. I thought so. Yeah.
Mike H is asking, was there?
I feel like I'm going crazy right
now. I know, right?
Like,
we're just gonna gaslight you.
People are just like, go and say these things. They're like, didn't I just say
that
right? Thing? What? My brain? Am I in another dimension?
Yeah. We should like rewatch it after we did this.
Yeah.
Mike H is asking, was there any successor of Murata-san or apprentice of his? So here, Murata-san, we used to carry his knives with the European style handle. He is more like a semi-retired because I've seen his knives from time to time with the Japanese style handles. Haven't seen the European Western style handle from him for a little while. So he's not as active as he used to be. Um,
A little bit more on the golf course than in the forge these days.
exactly.
Yeah.
But in that area, in the Tulsa, the Kochi area, they were actually doing great things.
Do you know anybody that's going to go there soon? Like maybe next week to go and see stuff? Like this guy. Naoto's on a plane tomorrow? Friday. Saturday?
Saturday.
Naoto's off to Japan on Saturday, and one of the places he's going to go
I got the
is
haircut
Tulsa.
yesterday. Just be nice to, see.
Well, you got to look respectable.
Yeah, right.
Unlike normal.
Right. But the Murata, this area is great. The this area, the Tulsa, the Kochi, traditionally well known for the blade making, knife making, that kind of stuff, right? So we had the knives from Murata-san and all the other blacksmith. But the what they did is they actually had started the kind of blacksmithing school funded by those blacksmith and the prefectural government. Like prefecture is like a state or the province.
That's cool.
Here. So they funded the money into those school type place. Then those master blacksmiths who usually work independently, they come to teach those younger people. I can't exactly remember if the Murata-san was one of the instructor there, but there's a lot of different instructors teaching those younger guys. I know the Shindo
Wow,
Kyohei,
that's very cool.
yeah, the Kyohei-san, Shindo Kyohei-san is doing one of the role in that area as well. So that's kind of cool, and there are a lot of, because the style is very similar, right? The Murata-san style, or the Muneishi-san's, or the Shindo-san, and those styles are very similar.
So I guess the answer we're getting to here is no, but that region, it has a lot of cross-pollination.
Exactly.
And who would you say, if you were thinking about a Murata knife and you wanted something that was really similar, who would you say that we've got would be close to that?
So again, the Shindo-san's knives, although he's not using the exactly, no, you can bring that one too. So we have like Tulsa knives. It's very similar, right? So it's like something like this. Shindo Kyohei-san has very similar style. We have the Muneishi-san under Hatsukokoro, or we actually do get the knives from Muneishi-san directly as well. Something like these very nice, very traditional Tulsa Kurochi style. Yeah.
Yeah, these Kyohei's are pretty nice. I like the way they look and feel. I also like the Tosa style. They make a really great knife, and then they don't go to great pains like they do in some places like Sakai to make sure every tiny little spot and detail is just tuned to absolute perfection and really polished. And why I value that, right? There's a lot of good reasons to like a knife like that. These guys deliver you really great performance for really great price, and that's always something I've noticed coming out of Tosa.
So Spoon Monkey has a different kind of question, different topic. As accurate as you can be, how many man hours are going to the Tsunehisa $200 knife compared to Manaka-san? So here's a little bit roll down on the, say this is knife, $200 Tsunehisa knife. And Manaka knife, let's see. It's quite a bit more expensive, but Manaka-san's knife. Manaka-san, he starts off from the two different types of steel. This is more than two, but generally speaking, two different types of steel. Soft steel, very hard steel for the edge. Cuts it open, put that in, forge the shape in, and heat treat, sharpening, and all those stuff. This one here, Tsunehisa, this one, he buys the steel already being pre-thinned, cuts out the shape, and heat treat, and sharpening. 80% of work, the sharpening, is done by this grinding machine, right? Instead of, it's so automated. So you push button, grind the side on. Although this particular knife, though, there is a lot of man hours goes into it, like including, they actually go through this traditional wheel, the vertically spinning wheel. They go through that as well, right? At the very edge, the last edge here is done all by hand. There is no machine clipping on it and do this. There's always hand involved to it. But a lot of the times are already been cut short by, cutting the steel already pre-thin at the different places, that kind of stuff. So that's definitely that's like how much, I guess,
they produce knives differently, where one person sits down and builds the knife from scratch to a place that has a number of employees, and each employee is on a team where they're working on separate parts of the blade making process. And yeah, those guys definitely pump out more knives. I have no idea how many man hours they spend on any of this stuff. It never really comes up in conversation, right?
No.
But maybe we'll ask next time we're around.
It's really hard to measure as a KPI, right? Because they have a lot more people working at this workshop than the Manaka-san.
Yeah.
Right? Manaka-san's workshop, it's a solo game.
And it does depend. I mean, I remember talking to some places where it's like, some guys will make, they'll turn out 60 blades in a day. But that's just forging, hammering, and sort of forming 60 blades in a day. So.
Alrighty, what are we talking about today?
This is a garage sale roundup right now. Garage sale runs from Monday the 7th and goes right until the 13th. It's online at knifewear.com. It's in store, Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, and Vancouver. Don Penny, just in case you're wondering, it is available online. And you can also go check out our other store, kentofinglewood.com. It's got some really sweet stuff. Because right now, the Tsunehisa knives are 20% off during the garage sale. And they are great knives for gifts. And Ken of Inglewood has great gifts too. So what else are we doing right now?
Let's talk about the best knives left, what we have left, and late arrivals. So we have a lot of like one-off kind of knives, and we still have a few really good one-offs or very rare knives left in our.
Well, and we got some doi knives. Some
came in.
Some Homuras.
So. Let's talk about, can't believe they were still here and I first. Something like this. Oh, be careful. It's still here. It is still here. Look. I sound like the one of those infomercial guy in Japan. Look. This is Nigara Troll Killer or Onigoroshi Yanagiba. You see that all very fine lines on the this knife here? It's all hand folded. We went to see how he actually does that, right? It was like incredible.
Well, I was just gonna say it was so cool when we were there, and I mostly went as a cameraman, had this gear, and Naoto was talking and stuff, and I was just trying to take pictures. And then at some point we go back to his table in the middle of his workshop, and he said, "Turn off your camera." Yeah. And then he proceeded to show us how he makes that. So we can't tell you. I'm sorry, Spoon Monkey. I know you want to know, but he told us we can't. But he showed us. Yeah. And I can tell you that what he does is start with a massive piece of steel that's made out of many other little pieces of steel.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like it was that thick that he started.
Yeah.
It was
that was the thickest
10
piece.
Inches, 10 inches thick. Yeah. It was insane.
That was the thickest piece I've ever seen. Like we have because we do have one of the footage from Nigara-san on our YouTube video, and it shows like how thick the steel that he was pounding. What we couldn't show you is that what kind of layers, what's actually consists
his methodology.
Yeah. But it was incredible. He's the only one who can actually make like this weird. It is weird, right? Having like what's this part, right? What's this? It's so.
I think we'd probably say unique instead of weird.
Yeah, it
is the Troll Killer, which is a weird name. Yeah, but I like it. Yeah, it's such a sweet knife,
right? Yeah. Or something like this here.
Oh,
right?
Thank you. John May's pointing out that both this one and the 240 Gyuto are still available.
Awesome. Oh, so we're gonna talk about the new arrivals, new or late arrivals.
This is one of those things we seem to get on regular arrivals at the garage sale. It's not one of those things that we can ever get many of, and the garage sale is a great time to feature them. Yeah. Homura Gurin is the series made by a blacksmith named Doi. He is the son of Doi. That's how it goes. And his father was an absolute legend in Japan in blacksmithing. This guy, he's probably in his late 50s.
like probably early
Maybe
60s.
Early 60s.
Yeah.
Well, he's still hammering out knives in Sakai. He's got a bunch of apprentices. Very cool guy. We went and saw him. He's got another person who does all the sharpening. It's actually his family does the sharpening.
Not his family. There's
another family, that exclusively works on the sharpening of his knives.
But great thing about Doi-san, Itsuo Doi-san, he was like 5 years ago, he wasn't really making any double bevel knives, which meaning, sharpen from both sides, right? Like this, like a regular knife. But for him, it was kind of weird. He was exclusively making this type of knife called single bevels, right? Single bevel knife, so like these. It's got really nice bevel right here, right? Yanagiba, Kiritsuke, and back flat like this. And inherently, or traditionally, these single bevel knives have quite thick spine. So he's really used to making those. So when he started making double bevel knives like Homura Guren and other Homura series, he was making the spine really, really, really thick. But look at the latest model of his knives here. Hopefully it kind of does it. It's got a lot of things in them. It's so much thinner, right? The spine is so much thinner, yet it's not like too thin that you feel like, oh, I don't want to cut the this and that with this knife. It's still got really nice convex edge right here. That's a Yamatsuka-san's work, right?
Yeah,
he does such great job grinding this. So food separation, entry, durability. This is really, really, really well made.
They're very beautiful. They're also very unique shape.
Yeah, it's got little this is great. So you can actually put your finger right here without
I brought over a couple other knives that we've had for the whole time that I think are super nice knives. Same maker, it's the same Homura. It's a different series, and I just think this shape is so sweet. And again, at the beginning, they were a lot thicker and a lot heavier, but now they are just sort of the same weight as every other knife, but so much taller, such a really long, the whole thing is one taper almost from the spine to the edge is this consistent taper. They are so smooth. I think cutting with this, thank you. Yeah. Cutting with this knife would be so smooth. I'm excited about
I
it.
even asked Yamatsuka-san directly saying, hey, I noticed the Doi-san's forging style have changed quite drastically in the last 5 years. And how do you think about it? And he's like, yeah, it's so much harder, right? Because but he does, Yamatsuka-san does such great job. It's how much the core is exposing is really even from both sides, which is really hard for the very thin knife. Often they overgrind them.
Yeah.
So that it's too much exposure. Like this one here. Look at how even that's this side. Like this here. It's beautiful, right?
So these are our late arrivals and a couple of things that are still left. What else is still left that we're excited about?
I'm excited about this guy here. The
yeah. That's a Hado.
Hado. This is Hado, and the blacksmith is the Ebuchi-san. So Hado is this company in Sakai that has the sharpener called the Maruyama-san. He's great, right? He's a great sharpener. He is the late starter basically in that the region, but because the company he works for kind of sponsor him. So he was able to concentrate on his trade and practice without worrying too much about some independent sharpeners. They have to think about how much to produce and sell to the customers. But what he was saying is that the first couple months he didn't have to really worry about producing the product to be sell.
He had some time to sort of figure out what he was doing.
Exactly, right? And he figured himself out really, really cool way by making a bevel much, much taller than any of the conventional sharpeners in the area. And by doing so, what happens is that it makes the edge like goes into the food so much more smoother.
Well, it's smooth because it doesn't split the food apart abruptly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It just gently travels through the food.
Yeah.
There's a few knives we have that are like that. And there's a few that are totally opposite. Like something like a Takeda is so opposite. And the Takeda knife is such a thin blade that he does this thing to sort of make it stronger. And it's kind of the fun thing about all these knives, right? Each craftsman has sort of a different approach to what it is they're doing. And it gives you a different knife. And eventually you find the one that's just like perfect for you.
Yeah. But Ibuchi-san's knife, what I really like about his knives is the nice thick spine right here. As I said, Doi-san's knives are getting better as a thinning, but the Ibuchi-san also makes lots of single bevel knives, leaves a really nice thick spine right here. So when you hold it, you like feel you're actually holding really good. Like hold that.
Oh, whoa. Oh yeah. Come on. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's right.
Oh,
it's the spine
crazy.
thickness. You can kind of see. It's a personal. Oh, having that the hand underneath of the edges, not the.
So cool. I wish you guys could be here with us and feel these knives because they're so much fun. And hopefully you can head into one of the stores and you can try them and feel them. That's why we have stores, right?
Yeah.
Buying online, we do our best. If anyone's on our website, if you have any more questions and you're not finding answers to, because it's kind of hard to put all the information up on a website without making giant web pages. Hello@knifewear.com is a great place to go. You can ask us questions and we will try to personalize the experience for you. And I keep saying this, our job is to make sure that you get the knife that's the best thing for you. So let us help you to do that. Q&A time. Let's get another Q&A queue up here and we will A the queue.
Yes.
What, if anything, did you guys pick up after day one? Well, I know Kevin just picked up one of the Rainbow Damascus petties.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't picked up anything yet. But the thing that's calling my name is the 240 Manaka Gyuto. I have a really hard time justifying any more knives because I'm like bumping up against 40 Japanese kitchen knives. Oh, Naoto, what's this? Tell us about this one.
I'm really. I hate this stove here.
Oh, so you might just take it home so you can fix that problem?
Yeah,
It's a good idea.
This one here, it is a branded. Oh, it actually doesn't have engraving. This is branded as Hatsukokoro Shinkiro Mirage. Mirage, the name is actually not on the website, but Shinkiro means Mirage. SHINKIRO Shinkiro. AS Algami Super with a beautiful Damascus, carbon steel Damascus on the outside. Really solid black crochet finish with a really nice taper spine down towards the tip. Also, the sharpening job is great. It's got a really beautiful taper on this way, convex edge to it too. Blacksmith named Nihei-san in Fukushima. He learned all his skills and techniques from the Yoshikane, and now he produces like such beautiful blades.
Yoshikane is a place in Niigata, and one of our favorites, Masashi, is actually from that family.
Yeah.
But that company, I want to say Hinokuni, wrong name.
No.
Who did we meet in Japan that had trained there as well?
Mazaki learned that skill there as well. The Tomo Matsumura-san from Tojiro, he learned the skills from there, as well as the who we're trying to
the crowbar maker.
Oh, there's
so many
Wakui-san.
names. Wakui, thank you.
Wakui-san also learned the. So he's like the.
Wakui's knives are so nice. They feel so great. Yoshikane is a great producer of knife makers.
Yeah.
Okay, any guess if the VG10W will be different sharpening? I suspect it would be a little bit different because of the wearability that's provided by the tungsten, or the W is the tungsten addition to VG10. I think it might be a little harder to sharpen.
It might be a little bit harder. It doesn't wear as fast.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, by how much, right? Because the VG10 itself did have really long wearability as well, so it doesn't grind as fast as some other stainless steels. So adding the tungsten to make it more durable is just unimaginable, I guess, right? We have one VG10W knife from the Makoto Kurosaki-san. It's on the last table there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
So Makoto Kurosaki-san, he is the a sharpener in the Echizen or the Takefu, and he is the.
Do you want to go from above there, Sky?
His older brother of the Yu Kurosaki-san. He's the Yu Kurosaki is like the super famous.
He's a really
rockster
successful
blacksmith.
young blacksmith.
Yeah.
Young, like he's in his 40s, right?
40s, yeah.
So this is the Kodama that's referencing this question here from Philip, and that's because they're using a different type of steel called VG10W. It's a new kind of steel for us, and the addition of the wolfram or the tungsten is the W does increase the wearability. I think Takefu said it increases the toughness by 25%. Is that
Something
right?
like that.
Something
yeah.
like that. And it also increases the hardness. So we're also interested to feel like how that's going to sharpen.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be a little bit harder to sharpen than regular VG10, I don't know if that's going to be that big of a deal because
Exactly, like-
VG10 is not that hard to sharpen.
And again, like it's really these are kitchen knives, right? You're not really talking about like big hatchets or axe or those very thick hunting
It
knives.
makes it easier when it's thinner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Spin
Cool.
Monkey. No, Spin Monkey, the VG10W is not the R2. The characteristics wise, it's very similar, but the R2 is still the powder metallurgy, right? They make a super fine powder and press it into the. So it's like a little bit more even in terms of the carbide sizes and stuff like that. Where the this is more more like ingot steel, like melts things in and so slightly different. I don't know if it's like that much of difference when it comes to actually the functionality standpoint.
I was
right?
just trying to look it up on the old Zen knives there, but
Anyways, it's really hard. The it is metallurgically
I
different,
suggest
but
you get one and figure it out and let us know.
that's not that. That's not that.
All right,
bad
Mr.
advice.
Curtis Payne has a good question. Do the sale prices get better and better and deeper we get into the garage sale? That's a great question. The sale prices are fantastic sale prices. The Tsunehisa knives are 20% off right now, and the garage sale knives are just really great prices to begin with. And what else have we got on the go that's a cool knife that we can show Mr. Curtis Payne?
I have this it doesn't necessarily like garage sale is mostly all about knives that the like one-offs. Like that's where we started at, right? And to kind of showcase a little bit more affordable ones as well. That's why we have the Tsunehisa sales and stuff. But
and sometimes when we're there, we come across a pile of knives that some factory or some blacksmith would like to unload, and we buy them for a great deal. We kind of just bargain with them. We get a dozen or 30 or sometimes 100, and we can come around and sell them for a great deal.
This one here is called the Mazaki Watetsu. Watetsu in the direct translation, Japanese steel. What is Japanese steel? It's a steel made in Japan with more traditional techniques by adding the using that the steel sand with more like making a tamahagane.
Okay, yeah.
But in order to create tamahagane, you get like big. It changed. You get a big chunk of tamahagane as well as some other steels can be used for other stuff. So this outer layer, and as you may be able to see, like tiny bit of subtle layer on the steel, this was actually the hinge from the very old buildings, like 200-year-old building. Yeah. And he forged welded it and put the core steel, white number 2 steel in the core. So you can see like the little, like, see here. So he forged welded the steel on top. So advantage. So here's the advantage. Like it's not just really fancy, $1,500 knife. But the advantage of the Japanese steel, the Watetsu, is actually it's so much easier to sharpen.
Oh,
it grinds it so much easier. So it's the Mazaki always think about the long, not really just the long edge longevity, but the life of the longevity of life of the knife, right? Like how long would that knife last and how easy is it to take care of or sharpen?
Well, and
them?
he tries to build the knife so that the maintenance is, I wouldn't say easy, but the maintenance is such that when you do sharpen your knife, you're not required to grind away a bunch of steel.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of
And
keeping it long
if it
for
needs
a long time.
to, it makes it easier, right?
That's right,
Because he sharpened them with the by hand for
Mizaki's an
most of
incredible
the.
blacksmith. You know, something that I think just to contrast what you've brought out, which is such a cool, unique thing, is this Seki Kenetsugu Pro M series of knife that we've got. It's something I really like. I've bought a few of them personally, and I don't have them because I take them somewhere to someone's house and we're going to do some cooking, and I just leave them behind. It's an $80 paring knife. There's a chef's knife. There's a Hanasuki that's really awesome. There's a variety of shapes. It's a great steel. It's a mono steel, so it's not the 3 layers of metal. And something I remember from being in a kitchen is that a knife like this is a little more durable, and it's also really quite easy to sharpen and put an edge on it. So it's a thin little knife. It's a great knife. It feels awesome. It cuts great. It's really sharp, and it's $80. And so that's one of those great garage sale deals.
And it doesn't chip as easy either, right? That's okay. So the Crystal's Kitchen is the asking if we can do a comparison between 210 Kiritsuke and 240 Kiritsuke. So 210 millimeter is about 8.5 inch in size, where 240 is 9.5 inch in size. Really depends on how you want to grip your knife as well. Mike is looking for a 240 right now. This Watetsu, the Mazaki-san Kiritsuke, is 240 millimeters. Usually they balance them very well at where you actually want to pinch like this. Oh, this is like look where it balances. It's like balances right here. You actually want to give it. I generally use both. Like, which size do you use?
Do I use?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use 210 Kiritsuke a lot. I have one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 260 Takeda that I like when I'm doing a lot of big stuff. Do you know what?
210?
If I'm working in a real kitchen, and by that I mean a professional kitchen, I'm always going to have a 240. I've got a big cutting board. I got a big prep table. It's always going to make using that knife easier. If I'm working in my kitchen at home, that's not big.
Right.
Unless I'm going to be getting down to doing a big batch of cooking, I'll just use a 210. It's a little bit more manageable size. It gets the jobs done. I'm not cutting a ton of stuff at once. Like I'll cut an onion or, half an onion.
Right.
That's 210 range for me.
Right.
If I'm cutting 10 onions, if I'm cutting a case or a bag of something, I'm definitely using a 240.
Right. I agree with you. Like a little bit of everyday cooking at home, 210 millimeters is probably the plenty size. Where when I'm like cutting up the I don't use actually a bread knife. When I'm get a loaf of bread.
Really need to,
when I'm slicing up the loaf of bread, I use a 240 because it's a little bit easier to do the bigger slicing work with it, right?
Another thing is that there's more versatility in the 240, especially if you're in a professional environment. You can use it for portioning larger things like salmon or prime rib or strip loin steak, something like that.
Right.
And plus, it's just bigger. You have a longer edge. When you slide the edge, it does the cutting for you. A bigger knife makes all those jobs easier. You're using less of your muscles to do the work, more of using the knife.
You can always pinch up the blade like this to make it feel like a little bit more shorter as well. But I don't know if that helps. But
okay, let's slide these off to the side. Crystal, I hope that helped. Oh, what's the weight on that 220 Gurin? All right, Kim. Let's just put this right here. That is 230 grams is what that says. 229, I should say.
And where it balances?
That's in front of the engraving. So that is fairly far forward for a balance point. Typically, you'll find the balance point a little bit further back there. What? Good save.
Okay. So.
Shimo Petty. What are the imperfections on the Masakagi Shimo seconds? Hard to find. I think some of them had a little bit of a wrinkle. Here, put it up here. So you can hardly tell, there's a couple little rust spots that were along the tang. Just a couple, right?
Yeah, and that could be removed really easy. It's that one's like really. So if you, sorry, was it the?
There was also a tiny little wrinkle in the cladding underneath the tang.
Yeah.
That typically is just ground out. And the best thing about the imperfections on these knives is they're actually nowhere near the edge of the knife.
like right, like this one here. I hope, yeah, it shows that the choil part there's a little wrinkle. This is so subtle. And if you, GB, if you actually go on the website, Sky took a really good picture of that the little wrinkle at the choil.
Nice. Great.
So you should be able to see that there's no defect on the edge or anything else. But it's a great
you know,
deal.
everyone's got a little wrinkle in their choil sometimes,
Yep.
and you know, it's just life.
And
And
20%
it's,
off from the
and
regular
20% off are great. You know, Shimos are awesome. It's a full carbon blade, a white carbon steel. They're such a nice knife to sharpen. They really patina in a beautiful way. That blade is one that, you know, if people don't like that kind of effect of a knife rusting and having to wipe it dry, that knife is known as being quite temperamental. But if you do like it and you do like the concept of building a patina on a knife, that is a super great knife. Gecko. Pop us a question here on the Gecko.
Yeah, absolutely. Where is it?
So the Jean-Philippe Roy is asking, not sure if that was touched on, but could you perhaps speak about Hub 40? Currently eyeing the Kurosaki Gyuto, the steel, and like to thoughts on. Alrighty, Hub 40. What can you tell us about the Hub 40? Hub 40 is this a like super engineered steel, not particularly for kitchen knife making. It is actually high-speed powder steel, which high-speed powder steels are kind of designed for drills and such. But this particular steel called Hub 40 is designed to get really, really high wear resistance and high hardness, meaning it's going to keep its edge so long. Kurosaki-san utilized this steel to make these knives with such great sharpening techniques so that it cuts into the food so nice. It's like so thin, tapers it so beautifully, and it will keep its edge such very long time. And Powell L, I think it is like that, the SG2 on the steroids, except the SG2 is fully stainless steel, where these are we consider to be a semi-stainless steel.
Yeah.
So it patinas a little bit. But you know what? If you're on the steroids, you probably can handle a little bit of patina on the edge, right?
Yeah. Hub 40 is a great steel, and it does hold an edge a long time. It's a little bit harder to sharpen to some degree. And to me, that it's not difficult. It just requires more time on the stone. And it is not something you want to chip because it can be difficult to grind. But you know what? That's about it. Listen, we have a tank raffle. We're going to raffle off a tank plus some Barracudas, about 10 minutes. We're going to raffle the tank, which means you get the option to buy it. And then the Barracudas are going to go, we're going to launch them.
We're basically just going to release them on the site.
We're going to release the hounds.
There's a link in the description.
Release the Barracudas.
Yeah.
And it's first come, first serve.
But yeah, this is so
Listen,
nice.
Hub 40 is such a great steel. It is so good at holding an edge. It's better than most things at holding an edge.
And with the Kurosaki sharpening, this is
Yeah.
actually really, really
These are laser beams, and they'd stay that way for a very long time. Yeah. And his the curvatures on his knife, the drop on the spine, like the way he builds knives is really kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep. Alrighty. Oh, Powell is asking the if Tojiro sharpening stones, are they good? Yes, they are. They are made by Naniwa. Whispering Naniwa.
Coincidentally,
Yes.
that's where we get our sharpening
Yes,
stones
they're-
from. Do you know why? Because Nanawa makes excellent sharpening stones. Yep. Speaking of sharpening stones,
Because we don't have Tojiro stones. We have Naniwa stones.
let me just grab my stones down here.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
Boom, 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 boom. This is why we carry these stones, because they're
I
excellent.
think
Oh,
the,
now it's
the
upside
answer,
down.
yeah.
Now it's right side up. Look at that. Knifewear, 220, 1,000, 4,000, 8,000, and a truing stone. That will get you where you're going. If you're going to sharpen a Hap 40, I would be spending a lot of time on the 4,000 checking it. And then if it doesn't scare me when I touch it, I would go back to the 1,000 minute. And then I would do the 4,000 over again. And then when I touch it and it scares me when I touch it, then I'll move to the 8,000. And then I probably wouldn't even try and touch it after that. That would be how sharp it would be.
Remember when we were actually sharpening, like, say SRS 15 or high speed powder steels, and Kevin showed us this trick that you throw the paper in the air and do this, and when it cuts
the powder steel, you can take a little piece of test paper and drop it, and then you can cut the piece of paper in half midair. And we had such a fun time at work, Naoto and I, one day. He had sold this customer this knife. It was powder steel, and he looks at me. He's like, "Hey, watch this!" And he goes to do this test for the customer. Drops this little piece of newspaper, slaps it, hits it, and the piece of paper just keeps drifting down. And he thought he missed it, which was weird. He had this confused look on his face because he's like, I thought I hit it. I don't know why it didn't come apart. It like flitted down about 2 or 3 little moves, and then it burst in half. It was so cool. Anyway,
I don't know if
fun.
that
That's
needs
just the fun stuff we do at work.
if that edge is needed to be on that, but you know what? That's okay.
Grant, that's a great question. Grant has asked us, is the 220 to a 1,000 a big step up? Should I have something in between? No, not really. I mean, a lot of times you can even start on a 1,000 and you can definitely do a lot of heavy lifting with a 220, especially if you've got something really dull, you're really trying to thin the knife out, or it's been chipped. If you're doing a lot of upkeep, you can often start from the 1,000. There is a 400 grit professional stone that we carry as well. That's if you did want to add something in the middle, that's a stone a lot of us really like to use because it gets us where we're going quite quickly without grinding as much steel as the 220. Did I say that right?
Yeah, say 220 is great. And jump from 220 to 1,000 is actually pretty normal. Like a lot of sharpeners, and we do it quite regularly, and it doesn't really leave that much of really toothy edge on it. If you want to, there's again 400 Knifewear, the 90 watt professional stone to start, or there's 500 stone from the 500 grit stone from the Shapton.
Yeah, that's
that is actually really nice stone.
Yeah, so the answer is it isn't a huge jump, but you could start from something a little finer in that 400, 500, 600 grit range. And I guess if you're finding that you're starting maybe on a 1,000 and it's not able to bring up a burr too quickly, then you definitely want to step down to something coarser. So the answer is no and yes.
Yes.
They are soaking stones, except, the 220 and 1,000, you definitely soak them. The 4,000 and the 8,000, not really. You don't want to soak them too long. I learned that the hard way. They can snap if you have
don't soak these guys, especially when you're living in this environment like here where we are, and super dry in the winter. So what happens is that they could saturate the water a little bit, and in this super dry climate, it dries so quick so that it looks sometimes almost like a droughted the rice field. You see all the water has been.
That's a really good reference for a bunch of Canadians.
And it gets all
the rice fields of Winnipeg that we all grew up with. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. There's the salt field.
Oh,
Salt Lake.
Yes, the Salt Lakes, the famous Canadian Salt Lakes.
Yeah, there are a few good ones actually.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, when you put a stone in water and a bunch of air bubbles start coming up out of it, that's when you want to soak it. And if you put water on the stone and it just sort of slightly absorbs into it, you don't really need to soak it. If it mostly pools on the stone, you don't need to soak it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And just save yourself some time and buy a truing stone.
Daniel's asking.
We love Naniwa.
Yes.
Yeah, they make really fantastic stones, including Knifewear stones.
Yes.
Here's one more about the stones.
Sharp and Sassy saying, these are step-by-step stones the team use in the store
wait,
to sharpen.
There's a picture of the two. I want to know which one is sharp and which one is sassy. Okay, are these step-by-step stones the team use in the store to sharpen customers' knives? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely this is one of my favorite stone, the 1,000. a little bit more cream pale color, slightly different from those like typical brown color ones. These are, the fantastic stone. I like 220 like. These are one of our favorite stones. That's why they got our packaging on them.
And when I started, these were the stones that we would use all of the time, right? And we do use other stones because we sell other stones, and all of our staff try to learn what each stone is like. We all end up with kind of our favorites in a way, and and sometimes you, depending on the finish of the knife, because we're down a rabbit hole where we are thinning out people's knives, and then we're finishing the surface of the area, the bevel. Grab a knife, please. And so when we thin out the knife, we'll scuff it up off of a hard stone, a really coarse stone at the beginning. So we, in our shop, will try to recreate this bevel with the least amount of scratch as possible. We'll try to buff it out so it looks pretty much like it did when it was brand new. And it's amazing the difference between each sharpening stone and how they can give a different effect as you go through the process. So
I mean, like we use like these primarily, but not limited to.
Well, I guess the bottom line is any knife that we sell, if you put that knife on those 4 stones, you would be in great shape. Okay, now to what are we doing? It's a garage sale, right?
Yes, it's just a reminder. This is a garage sale wrap up. Restream.
Pump up. It's not wrapping up until Sunday.
Right,
Monday, 13th.
Right.
The 13th
Pump
of November.
Up stream. We're doing this garage sale twice a year. We bring a whole bunch of the cool new stuff, one of a kind, some great sale, great deal items as well. We run it from the 7th, like this fall one, 7th November till this 13th. We have stores in Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Ottawa, and they open every day, 10 till 6, except on Thursday. Aren't they open a little bit later?
That's today.
Yes, they are. So
shops are open until 8 p.m.
If you want to actually come see us, if you want to come see us on Thursdays, we're open till 8. But that's our garage sale. There are a lot of one of a kinds, special deals, some cool knives that that Blacksmith wanted to made it for fun.
The Calgary store redid, refurbished, and is selling a whole bunch of their demo knives off the wall. I was talking to Colin at the shop today. He said they still have some. And that is a super, super good deal. I mean, we kind of cycle them through every year because after we've sharpened a knife, like we just touch up the edge. If we do it 2, maybe 3 times, then it's time that we move the knife on. So Barracuda time. Is that how that song goes?
Is it Barracuda time?
Ooh, Barracuda time. That's how it goes, right?
So Shibata-san, good friend of ours. He is the incredible sharpener, as well as he comes up with a lot of different knives.
He's creative. Definitely, he's creative.
He comes up with a lot of different shapes, sharpening techniques, like a differential edge sharpening, which if you want to know about, we actually have the video on our YouTube channel. Also, he does this project, Tinker project. Explain what Tinker means
Tinker's this guy who hangs out in his garage trying to figure out new things and playing around and maybe avoiding the other half of his family, and Shiba likes to get together with some of his blacksmith friends, and in this case he's often working with our man Ikeda out of Takafu.
So when he heard that the definition of Tinker, he was like, oh, that's what I want to get at. Get the knives with that inspiration, right? So each knives are so uniquely made with the selected blacksmith. And like we have tanks, which you can see them online. This is his new shape, and each shape has weird names, right? Like Tinker Tank.
There's the saber tooth, the mini tank,
and we had the shark teeth.
The shark tooth Deba.
Yeah, shark tooth Deba.
Well, and this one, I'm really excited about this one. I'll be honest with you. I think the shape is awesome.
Handle.
Cool rosewood handle. And would you look at that, hey? Does that not... I think the name Barracuda for this knife is actually perfect.
It's about one... let's measure it, because he told me it is 165.
Let's get some details here. We get some length. We'll get some weights.
So So length is about 170 millimeters. So if it says 165 on a website, sorry about that. That's what we've been told. 170 mil. It's got more traditional European style boning knife shape. And it is forged by Ikeda-san with Aogami Super with stainless clad. The weight of this is 140 grams. 140 grams. It balances like right here. This is perfect, especially this being the boning knife. You want to hold it here, or you want to actually have the index finger.
I've just been waiting for you to put it down so I could pick it up, and then I realized, hey, there's a second one. This is such a cool knife. Okay, they're going to be available in about 5 minutes. Nathan's just making them available on the website at the moment, so it's going to have to refresh your page.
We'll launch exactly. We'll tell you exactly when they're
Okay, we're gonna tell you exactly when they're ready.
Yeah.
Oh wow, these are cool.
How about that question on the screen there?
Yes, and yes, they are made by Ikeda-san. And they were made by Yaoji-san.
Oh, you said Yaoji. That's
Yaoji.
a knife that I'm excited about. That's still here.
Yaoji-san is he was working for an apprentice under the Kitaoka-san, the Hideo Kitaoka. And Yaoji-san actually started his own workshop. Yes, we have a whole bunch here somewhere there. But he started making, because he was apprenticed under or worked under the Kitaoka-san, he was mostly exclusively like a single bevel guy. But now he's basically being convinced to make some of the double bevel knives, which
All right,
we have
so
them right here.
these Tinker Barracudas will be available soon. As soon as they are, we'll let you know. Refresh your browser, go in and buy one. I think they're amazing. Please buy
You
them.
want to tell people to be at the ready, like in the description?
Be at the ready. Link in the description.
I'm ready to hit the button any second now.
Oh, Nathan's just warming up his button pressing finger right now. He's doing some finger button yoga. He's blowing on it,
Well,
making sure it's ready. He doesn't want to sustain any injuries.
Yeah. So here.
But this is a Yaoji. This is a knife we have in the garage sale made by that guy Yaoji.
Yeah.
And I think it is very cool.
He does such great, like beautiful Damascus pattern. Like this camera is great. It catches like if it's right. Yeah, look. It's got beautiful Damascus. And if I reflect
that is so cool because
It's
there's
got, like,
Damascus
bumps.
from the spine all the way up to the cladding edge. And
there's
all this really cool texturing to the blade face.
yeah, like right here, yeah. And it's really nice, thin enough blade, yet it's not like flimsy or anything.
No,
it's got
it's a
nice.
super nice knife.
Ginsan stainless steel, or silver 3, some people call it. It's great steel. It's a stainless steel, but it's some call it's forgeable steel. So what that means is that by blacksmithing, hammering the steel out, the crystal becomes a little bit more smaller and makes a little bit better edge
Nice.
than the say powdered steel has been already being formed really nicely, so it doesn't get as much of the forge effect. So
well, that explains why I like that Ginsan steel. I really like the edge you get off of Ginsan.
Oh, yeah, I know. Like I have the Yanagi from Ginsan. It's like fantastic.
Oh yeah.
But
You want to show us those Barracudas one more time? And I'll hit the button.
All right. Let's take a look here.
yeah. Should we do a countdown?
Sure, why not?
What do you got there? I got 1 of 3. You got 3 of 3. I think we only got the 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that got 2 of 3 actually commented on our Instagram post today.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
sweet.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. Want to count down? Start
It'll
from
be a 6-second delay. Anyways, but
so start from 5, 10. 10, 9,
8,
7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Go.
Now
it's available. Now.
Right meow.
I think, whoever probably clicked on at the count like 4 probably got it because there's a delay. right on the actual stream.
We have a little
Yeah.
bit of a sound delay, so.
Oh, the there's the internet delay. Like anything.
Well,
right?
I hope whoever finds them and buys them gets them, and I hope they love them because I think they are
they
exceptional.
are
knives.
exceptional.
And they are so unique and so rare. And in the spirit of the garage sale, we love doing fun stuff like this because they're just so hard to come by. They're so unique because it is quite literally a couple of people just tinkering away in their shop when they've got some extra time. It's not the mainstay of what they do. This is not their focus, right? This is a fun project for them too, and I think they're really doing a great job. So
It's
I'm
a
happy that we
fun
get
project
sometimes.
that they do, but it's not something that they don't want to be pushed.
Yeah,
They're like,
they don't want any pressure.
They
when
don't
it
want
comes
to be
these.
like make more tank. They're like
Yeah.
no, it's
They don't want like Naoto does every week.
Yeah.
More knives.
Yeah.
I need more knives.
It's just the little fun project that they sometimes you do that, right? Like like a cooking. Sometimes you make something that like take
Yes.
time and
like cooking.
Like
such
cooking.
such a great thing to do.
Yeah.
What else we got?
All right, congrats, Greg, and I think Chris was the other person.
Oh, nice work, Uncle Greg.
I don't know, maybe. Oh,
Yeah! Score, buddy.
Score.
Nice work.
boom! Congrats for
These available?
yeah. I got
congratulations for those of you who actually got the
Oh, Miss
Barracudas.
Martin, nice work.
these are going to be packed and will be shipped tomorrow.
I want to show you something else.
Oh,
That's
thickness on the
thickness on those.
I guess
This is a shoot first, ask questions later kind of shopper.
as the morning,
All right,
right?
so you should be.
Yeah. So this is actually really nice. The thickness here is 0. Okay. So at the real very heel, thickness is actually really nice. 3.7 mil.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like black finish, but it tapers forged into the really nice 2.5.
Oh, that's
So it gets really nice taper right here. So 3.7 on a small knife like this is really, really good.
Yeah, it feels sturdy, but I know that behind that edge is going to be so fine.
Yeah.
That's a finesse knife.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I'm jealous that this is really, really good. And tank is looking pretty good. Oh, the tank draw will happen later as well.
How about Mike talks about that knife?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, and I might need you to throw me some more details. This is a great knife. We've been waiting for these to come for a while. This is actually made in North Carolina. This is Silverthorn knives, and this is such a very cool shape of boning knife. I got to try one out. One of our guys here in the warehouse, Nolan, has one. He brought his in. I did a bit of a boning knife video with them, and let me tell you, this knife was so sweet. It's so thin. It's like using a little needle. When I was taking the bone out of a pork shoulder, so a big round bone, trying to do that tunnel boning kind of move. This thing was amazing. Nice curve here, which is fantastic when you're trying to skin something or trim fat. The fine little tip was like a little needle. Now, I would have said that this is 01 steel because that's what I believe it was before. It is stamped on the blade here, Nathan. It says BD1. And
Yeah.
would you confirm that?
I can confirm that right now.
It is BD1 steel.
Yeah.
That's cool. So they are fun little knives, and it's a unique shape for us. Of course, it's unique that we're not getting a Japanese knife, but you know what? We've used it. We've tried it. We like it.
Yeah, I'm buying one
Yeah.
right away.
There's not a lot, and we'll probably see them every 6 months. So we'll get some.
Yeah. We have
Get a dozen or something every 6 months, so they're not going to be around a lot. But yeah, when you see them, grab them because they're cool. What do they sell for, Nathan?
2 something Canadian. 1 sec.
2 something Canadian, which would probably make it like 1 something American.
Yeah.
256.
256.
Yeah,
So,
awesome.
Yeah. So these knives are great because it's backed by lots of the professional chefs we work with, right? Like Mike, you
Yeah.
and you were
Yeah.
professional. Like you were teaching like in last couple months
Yeah,
too,
I still
right?
try and stay in touch with what I was trained to do.
And then Nolan used to be a chef for the working in the industry for a very long time. Nathan is, and
Yep.
if they all like this, that tells something about this
Yep.
knife. So
Yep.
yeah, that's super cool.
On Between Two Forks, you love BD1 steel. I'm happy to hear that. this is my first time using that BD1 steel. I'm really excited by it. So I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Yep. Super thorn.
All right, everybody. I think it's time for a random number to be generated.
Yeah.
Because I think it's time to redraw for the opportunity to buy this tank. We have a Tinker tank. Tinker, of course, the makers of the Barracuda knife we just showed off there. And, you know, Monday we did a draw, and the person who we contacted who had won the draw did not choose to purchase the knife.
We've drawn a few names since, and 2 of them have sold. But
Yep.
we've got one left.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got one left to go here. We've sold a couple, but let's pull the knife out here. Let's take a quick look at it. This is, this one I think is fun because it was made on the 22nd of July of 2022, and it is number 2 of 3. So if 2 is your favorite number, I think you want to win this knife.
I like the little details on the spine and the choil and how it's been polished.
The details
and-
where you mean like it's mirror polished in so many different places.
Yeah.
Yeah, this knife is great. It's just, you might think it's like a big cleaver or something, or a big Chinese cleaver. It sure isn't. It is big. It is got some weight to it, but holy, this thing is a laser beam.
And weighing, which is really uniquely forged as well in that particular area. They usually are really designed, or they learn to how to forge them very thin, right? This is pretty thick. So what Ikeda-san did is that he forged it in 3D dimension, where he makes the 4.4 mil thick spine, tapers it down here to 3.9, but also there's another taper goes into here by forging it into 1.9. So there is a taper on the back spine this way, and taper back spine on this way.
I'm just reading this comment from Between Two Forks. This knife was made on their birthday by taking the time difference between the US and Japan. Well, I hope you win.
Yes.
That's amazing. Uncle Greg says he pulled the tank off his knife rack yesterday and all his vegetables fainted. Right? I've often thought about Takamura knives in a very similar way, where you don't actually cut them. The knife just gets out, the food just gets out of the way of the knife.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Here
Random
we
number
are.
generator.
Hopefully we don't get a text from Nathan's friends right now.
I got 2 episodes.
All right. Here we
All
go. Now? Nope. Hold on. I wanted to generate a good number. I got to wait. I got to feel it. Is it coming? Now. 245.
Okay, I don't think we've got that one yet.
No, we haven't had 245 yet.
Oh, that's good.
I remember. I don't know what the other ones were, but I know they were 245. What do you need? Elastic?
What's this?
This one? No.
It was
What's
a
the big
longer,
one?
bigger. Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
All right.
shoot us some more questions. What do we got here? What else do we have to tell you? I can tell you about some fun stuff that are not knives.
Yes.
Something that I'm very much likely to buy in the near future.
Well, it looks like it's Eden Fisher.
Aiden Fisher,
And,
you are 245, and you have an email coming to you
Yep.
with an invoice to buy that knife.
So we had a few quick questions for knives that we don't have in stock here anymore, so we'll just maybe show people and let them know. Sadly, we don't have that.
Talk about Hinokuni Nakiri compared to 165 Nakiri of his.
Off the top of your head, is there anything you can say? 'Cause we don't have that guy.
It wasn't that tall. It was about same height, but it was longer. He did have a 210 Nakiri for kind of as a demo or sample or one-offs, but it wasn't that tall either. So he was making the Nakiri a little bit longer.
The edge profile of his Gyutos is a kind of a continuous curve.
A little bit more.
But the Nakiri profile, I seem to recall, was quite straight, right?
Yeah, it was pretty straight. Yeah.
Yeah, so it has a nice straight profile to the edge.
Okay. Crystal's Kitchen was just asking about Tetsujin knives, so I'll just let Crystal know that we don't have any left.
I'm going to see him in
5
about a
days.
week.
Who are you going to see? 'Cause they're paying you.
So
Both.
Crystal's asking if we have any Tetsujin Hamono left. We don't. We will shortly. By shortly, I mean Naoto's got to go and see them and talk to them. He'll be there next week. And usually somewhere between 3 and 9 months later, some knives that that might be the kind of thing we see coming in for the next garage sale.
But if you wanna, like see the who those people are, just watch out for the social media. We'll be posting a lot of footage from Japan. If we could, depends on, because they are from remote area, they don't have good cell reception. Or the
you could just take
network.
pictures and then do stop motion.
Yeah, I'm really wishing to do some like live, but probably not, because remember what happened in one of the workshops
if it
in
works
Osaka.
out, it'll be serendipity, and I hope it happens. But it is tough there. So
Let people know to watch Instagram for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, watch for our Instagram Knifewear. Yeah.
And we're out of this specific shape, but maybe you can just talk about ZA18 steel.
Yeah. Tsunehisa ZA18 Enju. It's a fantastic knife. It's
Oh,
really
I really
nice
like
and
the
thin.
Enjus,
It's got a
yeah.
beautiful Damascus to it. ZA18 steel is this kind of counterpart to the VG10 stainless steel made by the Aichi Steel Company in the Nagoya and Aichi. They are really, really nice. It holds the edge really nice. We do have very similar one. By the Sakai Takayuki Ginga is actually made by the exact same steel, which is so ZA18 is this guy here. It is made by the exactly same steel. Rockwell harness is going to be very similar to VG10. It keeps the edge very nicely. It's a really good counterpart to the VG10. Awesome.
Okay. Here's a good one.
So the Jorgito da Costa is asking, any big difference between Nigara SG2 Tsuchime Kurochi versus Nigara SG2 Tsuchime Migaki?
I'm sorry, what? Could you just read that question again for us, please?
Any big difference between Nigara SG2 Tsuchime Kurochi versus Nigara SG2 Kurochi no Tsuchime Migaki?
Okay, gotta do it one more time. You gotta get it right. Come on.
Any big difference between Nigara SG2 Tsuchime Kurochi versus Nigara SG2 Tsuchime Migaki?
Yeah! You nailed it.
So, big difference is really the look. The Tsuchime, the Kurochi, for those of you who don't know really about any knife terminology, Kurochi means black finish. They basically leave that the black oxide steel on top of the blade like this. And Migaki means being polished.
As far as the function of the knife goes, basically none.
It's the same.
It is really, there's 3 things to consider when you're buying a Japanese knife. How does it feel when you hold it? Does it make you happy when you look at it? And does it fit your budget?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when it comes to those 2, it's probably just the one question of, do you like the way it looks?
Yep.
Okay.
I got some single bevels here. Well, can all steels take on a mirror finish? That is a very great question.
Very good question.
I imagine some would do it better than others.
Yeah,
but
some will do better than others. I'm not expert on the mirror polishing. I've watched lots of those guys on a internet do the mirror polish, including the this knife sharpener in Japan who produces such beautiful mirror polish knives. Some knives do take a lot longer and harder to make a mirror polish, but generally speaking, I think any steel, steel by mean, iron with the enough carbon in it, they should take the.
Do you think that would the heat treating process change that? Like if you had an untreated piece of steel, would that be easier than one that was treated?
It needs to be treated. It's
needs to be
probably
treated.
it needs to be probably hardened a little bit.
Yeah,
but
because then it would be a more even surface, right?
Although something like this is that it's the not being treated, right? Like this softer steel won't get as quite hard. The harder steel probably gets a little bit, and softer steel scratch up a little bit easy. I've seen this SK SK4, the company in Japan, makes everything the mirror polish. I love one of his knives, but he makes like super crazy mirror polished.
So can you mirror polish your fridge door? I'm sure that's what Sharpen Sassy is asking. And give it a go. We'd love to see what it looks like.
I think, with the buffing that thing.
Imagine if you had a kitchen where you just like some maniac mirror polish the table and mirror polish the fridge door and the sink and everything.
Mhm.
That'd be kind of cool.
Right.
All right, it's not too far off the garage sale. Please speak of the pros and cons of the Denka versus Kaijin. Okay, this is an interesting combo. I'm wondering about the 3D geometry, toughness, and ease of sharpening. You're welcome, Grant.
So the Denka, for those of you who don't know about the Denka is Fujiwara. Made by the Teresa Fujiwara-san. His top line made with the Aogami Super with the stainless clad. Kaijin, on the other hand, is made by one of the newer lines made by the Masashi Yamamoto-san using the VS1 semi stainless steel. When it comes to the pure edge retention and hardness, probably Denka has a bit better edge retention and may take just a tiny bit, but because it's a carbon steel, the Aogami Super steel, it may be easier to get the smoother edge, where VS1 is really a little bit more known for, or the Kaijin, a little bit known for its bitey edge. For those of you who really like to cut up the meat and always have little toothiness into it, Kaijin is fantastic. When it comes to 3D geometry, the three-dimensional, and when it comes to the thinning aspects of the sharpening, Kaijin definitely is a little bit easier to sharpen than the Denka because of the way Masashi-san sharpens the bevel really nice and even. There isn't much spot that's like too high or too low, so it makes it really easy to sharpen them on stones there.
I don't see any Kaijin, but I got a Kokuin if that helps you.
But so Denka is here. Aogami Super. Stainless steel cladding. It's got a beautiful black finish on here. The edge is really, really thin and keen. Durability standpoint, these are knives that you don't want to cut into any, frozen food or bones and stuff as Grant, Kaijin may be slightly better in terms of the edge geometry, but also, although he makes the bevel taller too, so it's par, I think. I can't really make a comment that one actually is much more stronger than others. They're probably about the same. This one here is different lines called Kokuen. His another new line made with the SLD stainless steel. It's really, this is thinner than his Kaijin counterpart. So like if you were to ask which one's more fragile and which one cuts better, I would have said the Kokuen will cut smoother because of its thinness, but it's Kaijin and the Denka for the micro bevel. Denka may take a little bit more smoother edge, easier than the Kaijin, but Kaijin may be a little bit easier to sharpen the bevel and have the bitier edge, if that makes sense. Alrighty. Okay, Neil is asking if any single bevels in stock. Yes, Neil, we do. The some actually came in a little bit late too, like this one here. This came in last minute. So depends on what you are looking to do with the single bevels. We do have something like Big Yanagiba, which made by the Doi-san. This is one of the Guren series. It's beautiful, and it's got a nice tsuchime pattern on the hammer pattern on the blade. This is great for slicing sashimi with. If you're looking to get something to cut up the fish, we have Hatsukokoro Shirosagi which is the white carbon steel. No, blue carbon number 2 with the really interesting kurochi finish. This is a great deba to butcher fish with. It's got a Kiritsuke tip too. If you're looking for something like weird, I guess like deba, this is another kind of weird. Sakai Takayuki Genbu deba. This is mirror polished. Like you could probably see the finger. This is it. The tip is sakimaru, which is the it's almost like a sword looking tip, but the it's like one of the fun shapes, I guess, like they came up with. Genbu deba. This is great. The made by the two young, I guess, two young craftsmen, one young blacksmith and one young sharpener in Tosa, Sakai Kikumori Tomoshibi series. They have been doing such great job on forging and sharpening. This deba is gonna be like one of the really well-made great deals for this like big 180 deba for 334. If you're looking for something again like really like unique single bevels, there's the Sakai Takayuki Gokujo Honesuki, which is 150 millimeter in length, which is good, which like really nice maneuverable size, single bevel. So it's great to do the some like fish fillet with. I was actually trying to fillet a rockfish with the double bevel Honesuki before, and I kind of struggled because the bevel was, like double bevel. When I'm trying to cut along the bone, the knife wants to cut into the bone, and it doesn't I couldn't peel the flesh off as easy. So having single bevel like this to do fish is just like fantastic. So that's the single bevel's Neil, and we have a lot more. Like just look at a single bevel collection there. Alrighty, Paolo's asking which type of blacksmith will make knife themselves. I heard that some blacksmiths don't do any more, and they are hiring hired consultants, and they're forged by young people. They still do like.
Where'd you hear that?
No, Kurosaki still forges.
Yep. Ikeda forges. Right.
Yeah, a lot of them still. Yeah. I mean, like they have, say, some blacksmiths has lines that they get the blank blade and sharpen them. The for example, I can probably say the half 40, the gecko blade is actually he buys the blade and sharpen them. There aren't much the forging effect, and it's just really, really hard steel to forge into the shape.
Yeah, the half 40
so
is crazy.
Yeah, that gecko is so if you're talking about that may be correct, but he all his all the other knives, like say Shizuku, Fujin, Raijin, we have the the Sasame, the Shimo.
And, something else is there's a lot of, I don't know how to say this. Okay, how about this? Gordon Ramsay is the chef of all of his restaurants. However, he doesn't make all of the food.
What?
I know, it's crazy. Hey?
Oh, what a ripoff.
Right? But, there's a little bit of both, right? And, these younger guys now that are doing the forging, they're doing the forging. But if you think back 6 or 7 years ago, Anru was the blacksmith, right? Ikeda was doing some of the forging as he was progressing in his career and learning to take over. So
Now, a few people in the comments are saying they want to see you take apart a fish with a deba, especially John May. So not today. We don't have any fish. I'm not going to put you on the spot.
Well, there's a river right over there. Go get us one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, I'm that good at fishing, but we will do that, John May. We will. Yeah, we will get now to take apart a fish at some point.
That's like what Kevin said to me when he took me fishing all of the times that he's taken me fishing and we've caught nothing. He said, Mike, it's called fishing, not catching.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we want to bring back a lot more takedas. Absolutely. You'll hear when we get more takedas. And the same thing will happen. We'll get a small amount and we'll sell them all at one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We will make sure we let people know as best as we can. We will broadcast that far and wide, Ty, when we get some taquitos. The question is, please bring back more taquitos. We do our best to get those kind of things all of the time. Join our mailing list. That is the #1 best way for you to know when stuff like that is coming available.
Yeah, because we always have them on order.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, forever. It's also called, it's not called knife catching. It's called knife fishing. No, it's not. No, it's not. But it feels like that sometimes, right? You put a hook out on the water and you get things. So.
All right, Don Penny. Some cheese knives, may not be something that you are particularly looking for, but here's like some great options. I mean,
I'm gonna put the butter slicer here because first of all, butter is basically cheese, right? This I learned. I looked at this butter slicer that we've brought in. It's a very, very nice product. It will actually cut a pound of butter into 1/2 ounce pieces equally. Now, I want to do a thing. Nathan and I think
you need at least like 5 or 6.
Well, I think we're going to do a video of what can this cut. And I think we're going to try cucumbers. I'm definitely going to try burrata. Tofu, cream cheese.
Oh, cream cheese, yeah.
Willet cutter.
Follow Knifewear on TikTok.
Oh, I don't have a nail I can do that with. Wow. Okay. Now, that's a fun little
Got
rando.
guitar picks on your fingers.
This is called a cheese liar. It's in a bag. You can see a little wire here. Can I take this out of the bag? Is that going to hurt anybody?
Unless you try to grate.
All right. Cheese liar. Not wire. It has a wire, but it's a liar. I think that's because it's like a musical instrument from the before times. So there's a little wire here, and you can use this to cut through the cheese, right?
We have the small cheese knife, really well priced. Shizu?
Yeah.
Shizu Hamono, the Morinoki series. Really, simple cheese knife to serve. This is going to be good on a cheese board. It's got a, small micro serration on here's a little.
The micro serrations you find on a lot of cheese knives, and it makes the cutting of the cheese better.
Yeah.
I personally don't like it because the texture that it puts on my tongue ruins the cheese for me. That's just my opinion, though.
So we have a video coming out on our channel soon. Whenever we get the konakiri back from this guy.
Yeah.
From Isaac, who's a local cheesemonger. He owns a cheese shop at a farmer's market nearby, and we put these all to the test. And he teaches us about cheese, and then he tests all the knives for us, and he tells us which one is best.
I just want to go back and say I think this is a great little knife. I think this is a great knife for picnics and camping.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're driving across the country and stopping at picnics and eating tomato sandwiches.
My mother-in-law, I was at her house recently, and she said, I just love those Japanese knives you got me. But do they have a tomato knife? And because she still cooks everything. She has some beautiful knives, but she still does a lot of her cutting with a little serrated paring knife.
I think this is great.
I'm just going to get her this one.
Anyone who's only doing
My
job
grandma,
everything with the small
most
knife.
of my aunts.
So this is that great knife that Nathan was talking about. This is the Suzuki Hamono. It is this cool sort of single bevel knife where we've got a tiny short little bevel. I've been using this for all kinds of stuff, Don. I think you might like it. It would work well for cheese. Now, of course, we've got different types of cheese, and something here that's a really awesome cheese knife for harder cheeses. This is actually what you would use for busting apart a whole parm wheel.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to use a Denka like 150 Q-Town.
Yeah, and then Nathan, stay over there. This is a giant cheese knife for hard cheeses. I like to use an oyster knife as well when I have something hard, like hard parm or Asiago or Grana Padano, something like that, because instead of cutting it and grating the smooth surface that's left behind from the blade, I put the oyster knife or this thing in and twist it, and it actually cracks the cheese apart. And then when you put it on your tongue, the whole salt crystals are left, and they just umami town is what it is.
Sorry, I was like, this really looks like those ninja star. So
Oh, nice. Do you know what I use, honestly? One of the reasons why my Yuki Kobunka never comes off of my knife wall is because It is the cheese and cured meat knife all of the time.
The if you're like we are bringing, if you're looking for something more traditional cheese knife with those holes on it, the holes in it.
Yeah, those are great for that soft cheese.
And we do we are planning because we did have that shape from the Mahogany line.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
That's right.
Yeah, we did. So we are bringing some of those shapes back as well. As soon as we get the those back.
You know what? If you have a medium or harder type of cheese, like cheddar or something, as you know, most knives will do. Something really hard, I suggest this cheese knife from Arcos, the big guy, or an oyster knife. And if you want something that's going to be awesome for soft cheeses, brie, camembert, pyramid, Humboldt fog, I don't know, I could name all sorts of cheeses I was going to try. But this little wire would be fantastic. You could cut a whole wheel of brie in half. It's kind of a funny tool, but just, you get those boards that you have the wire that you pull down and they're kind of big to monkey around with. This is just freehand. And I think this would get you a lot of places.
Can you cut the boiled egg really good?
You could cut a boiled egg with that.
Do boiled egg with butter cutter.
Yeah, you sure could do a boiled egg with a butter cutter. Right?
I like boiled eggs. That's exciting.
You don't like boiled eggs?
I like medium boiled eggs.
What did
Soft boiled eggs.
Oh, you like them? Oh, okay. I thought you liked them medium. You're medium about the medium eggs.
I'm medium about hard boiled eggs.
Are you? Never mind. I won't say that. That was going to come out badly.
These are great. Like I guess the cheese knife on the board.
Yeah, this is such a great.
It's just
there's
little,
the presentation factor from these guys that are awesome, right? Yeah.
And they're like $45 now.
Yeah. There's still the Troll Killer, Don. Troll Killer would make a fantastic cheese knife. You wouldn't have any cheese in your fridge left, but
like Uncle Greg is asking.
yeah, you know what, Uncle Greg, I gave my mom a Mizu Kamagata. She likes it because it's handy for a lot of things, but she uses it as a cheese knife all the time.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. Like right? I buy like really small brie like these, right? And I don't buy that. Yeah, that's like.
Well, when we talk about some of the way that the geometry of the knife is, right? There's this kind of thing, right? And as the knife goes through the food, it keeps running into this edge all the way up. So you really want an edge that's going to be more. Now, obviously, you would like it to be centered. But this convex edge gives you a really thin spot here.
Concave, you mean?
But yeah, concave. But then there's some knives that are like this, and this is kind of like a weird cross section of what a Takeda is like, sort of the Manaka as well, where the food drives off this side of the blade, right? That's the fine edge that you're cutting, and then there's this hollow here on the face of the blade, and so as the knife is traveling through the food, the food's not going to touch that face of the blade. That's where the food's going to stick on the knife.
Suzuki is like half of this. Yeah. If you cut this right in half, that's what the Suzuki looks like.
Cutting cured sausage with this knife is amazing, right? It just like flies off to the side. You can get it really nice and thin. So you're going to want to try and find a knife that's got that hollow center. And then as you're cutting through the cheese, it will just sort of peel off the side. Because of course, the problem is that it's dense and it's kind of sticky, right? Mm-hmm. And it kind of grabs on the knife and then it folds the cheese over and looks weird.
Yep.
Dawn, I hope that helped.
Okay, what's next? Are we? Oh,
I don't know. What's your budget for me there between two forks? Are we getting presents for me? Is that what's happening? What's on my Christmas list? Definitely the Manaka 240. I'm in love with that knife. I love the way it feels. I love the way it looks. I love how he builds and sharpens knives. And instead of just standing here talking about it, why don't I get it and show you?
Oh.
And this is one that I'm kind of surprised is still around. This is a 210 Manaka. It has is the Manaka N, ENN. Now, I'm going to do the thing with the camera here to see if I can get you to see the Damascus. This is crazy cool because he has made Damascus steel. Then he has split the Damascus steel open and put in the core steel of Algami number 1. What is incredibly cool is that the core steel on the outside is Algami number 2. I'm looking at Naoto. You can't see. I'm looking at him for confirmation. I'm using the right word.
Number
So,
1, and yeah, outside it's like number 2 and white number 2 as well.
yeah, so he's made layered steel on the outside of white number 1 and white number 2, and then he has put that onto a core steel of blue steel number 1, which has got lots of carbon, really hard. This is such a unique knife. Yeah, this is on my Christmas list. You can still find it. It's the last one we've got left, and I think he's simply a phenomenal knife maker. And this is more than, this is that kind of thing. This is almost like the concept car where this blacksmith is currently showing us how good he is at making knives and how talented he is by making this knife. This is a real showpiece. This is incredibly special. So I think that would be an amazing knife.
I have a lot of knives as well, and I found some of those items are great. Some of those knives are great for the Christmas gift, like small kitchen gadgets. We have a lot of them, but so some companies like in the Leia, they make really fantastic. Like I have this tong at home.
Yeah, have you ever tried cutting something and it's really hot on your fingers, and you might have a pair of big tongs or big tweezers, but they feel awkward? These guys are perfect because you just kind of hold them like this.
Mm-hmm.
So say you're trying to cut something, you hold the food that you're trying to cut down with these guys and then slice it with your other hand. I can't really demonstrate that as I only have 2 hands, but pretend there's a third hand. And it's cool because the knife will actually just, the knife you can just basically run down the backside of the tongs. Can you put your hand underneath it so it will focus? Once again, still only have 2 hands. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying here, folks?
Yeah.
This is like the knuckles.
Yeah, I use them for, I was cutting the steak the other day, and I usually cut the steak before I serve them.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's like sharper knife and it keeps all the moisture in.
Yeah.
But I hold it like this. And instead of like holding it with a big tong like this, it made it a lot more easier to control. We have this serving tong, like it's just really cool looking serving tong like this, as well as these ladles with a bit of holes right here.
Little skimmer ladles.
Yeah. So like it's a hot pot season. It's -20 outside. Maybe gone up to -5, but it's -20 outside. So making a hot pot, really nice.
I get it. I get it now.
And you scoop something up, and you have excess moisture, like the liquid. You just like drain them like this.
You want a good ratio of broth
Yeah.
to the good bits.
Yeah.
Right. So this allows you to scoop out of the hot pot, drain a little bit of the stuff. You don't want too much liquid. You get to drain some of the liquid off. Still get some liquid though. That's really clever.
Yeah. So it's like smaller spoon. This is also really good. Like this is great serving spoon as well. Like, I don't know if they're like, say if you're serving some of the pickled vegetables and stuff like that, you still want a little bit of liquid or like olives, right? Like, hey, like if you're at the serving station or the buffet table, like this is great too, right? You can drain them really, really nice.
John, the back of these is not too hard. You could be careful with your knife. It would depend on the finish of the knife, of course.
Depends,
and of course, it would depend on how hard you were rubbing your knife on the back of this too. It could. I wouldn't use my mirror finished knife on this for sure.
No.
But yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
We have the little butter knife with the little holes here. If you actually scrape the butter like this,
it's like a butter zester.
You get yeah. And you know what's good? It actually the little strings of butter is much easier to spread, right?
Especially if you haven't let your butter warm up.
Exactly. You don't have to like. I usually keep my butter in the fridge.
Okay, I like this little thing because it's the thinnest, flattest little piece of steel. Like you probably can't even really see it, but it is really bendy.
Yeah.
And this has saved me a couple of times trying to get a piece of fish that's like really kind of like a little too stuck to my pan. You can get underneath and you can kind of just let the spring lift it up so you can get that oil back underneath it. But it's so thin. It's so nice.
Another like really cool saibashi. This could be a cooking chopsticks and stuff like that, but
Oh,
this
it's too small. This one is the perfect size. Seasoning your steaks. You put the season. You get up in the morning. You're gonna have steaks. You put salt and pepper on them,
Yeah.
or just salt. You let them sit in here.
Yep.
Over the daytime, you come home. You got perfectly seasoned steaks. By
Yep.
the time you go to cook it,
because it's got the it's like
This
it's
is
lifted
so
up
smart.
a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a stainless steel. It's this could go in the dishwasher, no problem. And any of these can go in the dishwasher. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
dishwashers are amazing things.
Yeah.
Of the things we sell, very few of them go in the dishwasher.
Yeah, exactly.
This thing that's
This
made out
thing-
of stainless steel and a silicone lid can go in a dishwasher.
This is also great for like if you're making it the French fry.
Yep.
Just drop the French fry in there.
Yeah. Anything deep fried, it would
Yeah.
drain nicely and stay
Yeah.
warm. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, do you know what would be good? Poached eggs.
Oh,
I always take poached eggs and I put them onto like a paper towel or something. No, that wouldn't be good. No. You still, but it's nice to put a poached egg onto something first, so the water drains out. Right.
You don't have like a wet, soggy Benedict.
No one
Right,
wants the soggy
right.
Benedict. No, that's true.
these comes really really handy for any type of cooking that
Yeah, I think they're smart.
Yeah.
I talked to our man Chris Armitage upstairs. Upstairs?
upstairs.
Upstairs by
is
me.
Is he upstairs?
Edmonton. Edmonton is upstairs. Calgary is a little downstairs. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. He said he got the little one, so he puts one steak in each one, and then he said what he would do instead was buy the big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is great for like veggies and stuff, right? So
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
like all this. We buy all this stuff for a reason, right? Because
Yeah.
we want it so we can talk forever. But let's do a speed round Q&A. Let's do you do the Q's, we'll do the A's. Did you guys buy any knives this garage sale? I haven't bought a knife yet, Kuhn. It's the beginning of ski season, and that's a very expensive time. I usually buy knives in the spring. I know Kevin bought himself a VG10 Rainbow Damascus Petty. I don't know what else other people
did
have
we
bought
buy
though.
like the Manaka 240N as well?
Oh, he also bought
it was,
that. Yeah,
it was
yeah.
out of
All right, next question. Did any info? Oh,
Yoshimune Shirogami Santoku. Any info? Oh, just bought the wondered about the balance and do we have a Santoku left? I know there was like next year.
yeah, Jimmy, we'll get one out and we'll Timmy Treetop. I'm sorry. Sorry, I said the wrong name. We're gonna get one. We're gonna find it. We're gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Why don't you pop up another question? We'll come back when we got that knife and answer Timmy Treetop's question.
What do we know about Takeo Murata knives? Paul can't find too much information about it. Did you have his knives in the store? Yes, we
used to,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
He would use blue number 1.
Right? Yep.
I remember sharpening them and thinking they were just incredible.
His knives are great for like oftentimes those Tosa knives are known for its like rusticness, and it was rustic as the Kurochi finish, but his beveling was really really nice, and it was actually very nicely done.
Yeah, they were really nice to sharpen.
In Japan, I think Murata-san was known as a razor Murata. So like Kamisori Murata-san, because he makes the edge really really keen as well, right?
Well, they were very sharp. I definitely remember that.
So Yoshimune, the blacksmith's name is Kawamura-san. In the Sanjo, his blacksmith's name is Yoshimune. It's great. He's got the really nice finish. I love the Kurochi on the stainless steel clad, white carbon steel number 2. It has very nice hamaguri or the convex edge, so it's not as quite like fragile, but it's still nice thin behind the edge as well. And the price you can't beat. You can't beat the hand forged knives with the white carbon steel and stainless clad for 157. So
incredible.
Yeah.
Yep. You might have seen the balance point I held up there. To me, I think your balance point is likely going to be closer to this spot right here, which is perfect. That's where you're going to want to hold the knife.
And a weight. 189. It is slightly, probably tiny bit heavier than the.
Yeah, I'd
some
suspect
other
you're probably
blacksmith?
going to be 160 ish grams when you get yours.
Yeah. Sumongi, will they possibly see Manaka first run of House-Made Damascus over ZDB down course soon, maybe next garage sale? I have some ZDB knives. Well, we have some ZDB knives on order with Manaka-san,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to see him next Tuesday. So we'll see where we are.
Possibly, very possibly.
Yeah.
Very possibly when, we don't totally know, but soon, and you will know.
Yeah, he's working on a lot of different steels. So I love my view of Takada-san is he's great sharpener in the Sakai. His like Suiboku finish is just such beautiful. I see sometimes his knives I consider to be little. It really depends, right? Like I love thin knives, and I can manage his thin blades, but his knife sometimes has the overexposure on the core steel, from the look of it. So I can't really speak of it because I haven't really touched it. But Takeda-san's great. Oh, so Grant is asking what is our view of Takada no Hamono in Sakai. He's a great sharpener.
Do we get any knives from that
No,
guy?
we don't.
No?
Unfortunately, right. He used to work for Ashi Hamono in Sakai, and he started his own
Very cool.
workshop.
All right,
Yeah.
what's our next question here? How heavy is the tank?
0 milliliters,
How many milliliters is the tank?
grams. Okay,
Oh, that's actually not that bad.
364 grams, or 12.8 ounces.
Or 364 milliliters.
12.8 fluid ounce. Yeah.
What kind of skis you got there, John May? I got a pair of 183.0G. I'm looking for a pair of like maybe 112 DPS though. Maybe the DPS Pagoda.
Are you speaking English?
I sure am. Are we going to celebrate tomorrow after the sale ends? Yeah, you bet. We're celebrating right now.
Right now, yeah.
And you know what? Who's actually going to celebrate the most? We have a couple of folks that work here in our warehouse, and we have to shout out to them because Nolan and Tiago have been hustling hard. We just looked at some of what they're doing. In the last 2 days, they were packing 9 orders an hour, and that was including taking lunch. It was everything, right? They hammered out several hundred orders in 2 days. And our goal all of the time as a business is to try and get your order out the door within 24 hours of the time you order it on normal days. Every day of the week, that's what we try and do. They managed to hit that target during this garage sale, a day that we get absolutely inundated with orders. So they have been absolutely fantastic. So big shout out to Nolan and Tiff who runs the warehouse here with them. But they're so cool, and
They're in the back. Oh.
like we just get to stand here and spout out stuff. We don't actually have to do much, and that's because of those guys. So thank them.
Thanks. Yeah. And the sale doesn't end tomorrow. The sale ends on 13th.
That's true. Yeah. That's a real true point. That's a real.
Make sure.
That's a real fact. That's a real fact.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah. Who got the deck with the pink handle? yeah, that's right. Yeah, not you, I'm guessing. We'll hopefully see them around.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm here. What'd I miss?
John May and I are possibly trading knives for skis right now. But we'll have to figure that out on the side there, Mr. John May. Maybe we'll go skiing together.
So this is what happens when I leave.
Yeah, we just start talking about skis.
Yeah.
Now that you're here, we can start talking about knives, though.
There you go. Okay, Spoon Monkey is asking if selling a knife to a friend or a colleague to afford new knives, what's the rule of thumb? And Is there a pricing rule?
There's a pricing rule. Sell your knife for a price that makes you happy and your friend happy.
Yeah.
That's
so I guess
good.
you'd probably like go back and forth until you figured that price out, hey?
But make sure nobody's feeling ripped off.
They might not have a friend anymore. And you would have an enemy with a knife at that point, and that's nowhere you ever want to be, right?
Right.
Well, my time here is done. I feel like I've done my best work.
The
best size petty for a two. Oh,
best size petty. Best size petty. Let's get to some petties.
nope. Yep.
It really depends. Depends on what you like to do with the petty, because the petties in Japanese, not in Japanese, petty knives are basically meaning a smaller knife, petite in the French, right?
Yeah.
Smaller knives than the say 165 millimeters, right? So we have those petty knives as well.
It does sort of depend a bit on the purpose. The shorter blade for me, I like if I'm going to be using the knife in my hand for cutting through stuff, right? This kind of motion. I wouldn't do this kind of motion. It would hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Now there are longer and skinnier paring knives or petty knives like this. And a skinnier knife is better at going around corners, where like what Naoto's got here, which is a taller blade, is better for chopping. Right, so you've got clearance, so you can hold the knife properly and cut with it and not hit your knuckles on your cutting board.
Yeah, so like this is not really the greatest knife to do the peeling with, or do the coring with.
I bought that one.
I know.
But the if you want to actually do the little chopping job on the cutting board, this like taller petties are the better, right? For that, so it really depends on what you are going.
I think if you want a knife that you're going to use for, say, slicing some limes or putting something at the bar or just cutting something small when you get home, like a cucumber. And then if you want to have something that could do some lightweight butchery work, you want to do some things where you buy pork tenderloins, you want to just clean a bit of the sinew off or a bit of extra fat off the piece of a steak or something. Then something like this, that's the 150 petty with that long, slender blade, I think would do a great job. If you just want something that you can do some small chopping with because you're going to take it when you go to the cabin, or you just got a small space, or you're just not comfortable with a big knife, get something with that higher heel on the back there like this so you can chop with it properly.
Generally speaking, though, the petty knives are thinner. And in Japan, what we say is that the thinner the petty knives are, the better. So something like this, the smallest petty knife. This Moritaka AS Aogami Super Kurochi petty. That is 90 millimeters.
Yeah, 90 millimeter blade. It's $200. So it's a carbon steel knife. It's fantastic. If you're cutting something like lemons or limes with that, you would see the rust factor happen a little bit more because of the acidity will make the steel oxidize faster.
If you want to look, if you're looking at the same kind of size of the blade, there's the Camo VG10 90 mil, 80 mil, 80 mil petty as well. So this is really nice as well. It is. This one is stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about rusting and stuff like that. So this is great to do peeling job, coring job. It is quite small to cut the whole lemon with, but lime maybe.
And that's got that extra long handle, so I feel that allows you to back up off the knife. And yeah, so.
But this one here, one of my favorite blacksmith, knife maker, Blacksmith, Takamura-san, he makes the spine so thin. So like cutting into like this is great for radishes.
Oh, radishes or like slicing, garlic.
Yeah.
Right, making a little salad, something like that.
Yeah, this would be great. So it really depends on, like, think about what you like to do with smaller knives. That's really the first step to choose a knife. Like, think about what, like using the gyuto, like what are those tasks that you feel kind of not as comfortable using those gyutos, and, choose the knife according to that. Right?
Always, if you have more questions, not even if we're not even doing a live stream, just email us. Like any of us, you can email. hello@knifewear.com is a great place to get to us, and we can definitely guide you in terms of helping you solve the problem you're trying to solve.
Mm-hmm. John May was saying like he has a 150 mil kotetsu and it's great. That's probably what the and kudos
Your
to everyone.
username is just awesome.
Ellie has
Isn't the
this-
internet a wonderful place? We can call ourselves the unannounced fart.
special. Yeah, Ellie is great. She's a shout out to
Yeah,
Ellie. Yeah,
Ellie is-
yeah.
There's so many things, so many reasons that make Ellie a phenomenal human.
Yeah.
Ellie's watching us. You gotta say nice things.
Don't let her get too used to it. Don't say too many nice things.
Mhm.
Thanks so much. We
Thank you.
really appreciate you saying stuff.
Yeah.
We put a lot of effort in this. We try and do our best to bring something really fun for everybody here. So
Mhm.
we love to hear when you say stuff like that. So, and apparently Sky's going to go home now.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just helped with a sign that said bye. Okay, let's see. Do we have any last questions? Anything we can sneak in here?
Spoon Monkey. So
Oh no,
earlier-
he bought two knives. He bought this Damascus, brass copper Damascus, the rainbow Damascus Saji Petty, and he got the Manaka N.
240 of So during the garage sale he only got one, I guess. It's okay, and he just got this one.
And he also got this
He
Homura
just got this one.
because he's been waiting
Yeah,
for
he-
that knife to come in for 9 months now. I think you've been waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Such a nerd.
yeah, it just came in. It just came in like a couple hours ago, I think.
Hot. Still
Yeah,
hot.
yeah.
Still hot out of the oven.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, it's time for us to go home and check some emails and go home and check some emails. Go back to the desk and check some emails.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. We're out of here. Now, do you got any last comments? Anything you want to say? Any knives you want to promote?
No, that's great. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you guys watching it. I am off to Japan on Saturday and we'll see some of the blacksmith. So stay tuned on the Instagram Knifewear account. So you'll see the where I visit and some
And fire questions if you if you
absolutely.
see where he's going and you want to know something. Like
Yeah.
I know Spoon Monkey, you've got lots of really interesting questions. So
Yeah, please do.
One last question.
Sure.
Oh, come on.
One last.
You don't have that.
Oh,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Uncle Greg.
Thank you, Uncle Greg.
Last one.
Okay, Chris,
This guy, right?
give a rundown on Unreal Hamono Kurochi AS to Tengyuto.
Do you know what I think about this knife? I think this is everything you really want in a Japanese kitchen knife.
And you only need one.
More.
Yeah, more. Unreal, Ikeda, like Unreal Hamono is the now officially run by the Ikeda-san, the fourth generation Unreal
He's
now.
so good at making knives.
He's great. He's been like learning and working under Unreal-san for a very long time, and even like before he took the Unreal Hamono over officially, he was basically doing pretty much everything. Unreal-san comes by. Did I have like too much beer? So that's why it's like, Unreal-san is like, well, even right like a couple years before the Unreal-san retired, like kind of semi-retired or formally Ikeda-san took over the Unreal Hamono. Ikeda-san was doing pretty much everything, right? So he learned all the skills from Unreal-san, making a really nice taper.
Do you have an idea
here.
of how long he worked for Enru before?
His whole career working.
Yeah.
Yeah, like after
I know it was
graduated
his whole
from-
career, but do we know how many years that
Somewhere
was?
between 5 and 60 years.
The Ikeda-san started right after university, so 22, and he's the year younger than me, so he is 37.
Long time.
He's 37, so he's worked there at least 15 years. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing by now.
Yeah.
I love this knife because I love the combination of the stainless steel cladding with the Aogami Super Core. It is all the things you want out of carbon steel with none of the things that you want out of carbon
And
steel.
it's just like balance is perfect.
It doesn't. You don't have to really consider the maintenance factor of it. Like if you really torture it, you can make it rust, but it's almost difficult to. A 210 Gyuto is the size of knife that I can make do anything. If I'm in a professional kitchen, I'll have something bigger, but I can make that knife do anything I need it to.
Yeah.
And it looks so cool. I love the hammering finish on the outside, so it breaks up surface tension as you cut. It's very well made, very well sharpened.
Yeah, it's a great knife.
Yeah.
And it's good price, $374.
Okay, take two. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for joining us the last couple live streams. If you've been around, we did Friday, we did a marathon on Monday, and today was the last little wrap up. So we hope we're able to get to all your questions. We look forward to seeing you again. And check us out, knifewear.com. We have stores in Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, and Vancouver. Stores are open until 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Thursdays, we're always open late. Stay tuned. Join our mailing list. You'll find out about stuff like this. You'll also find out about Christmas hours and all the stuff we have coming up. Nathan writes really excellent mailouts. They're worth reading. You'll learn some things. Check our YouTube channel out where this guy and this guy and some of those guys and even sometimes this guy make videos about how to do stuff with knives, whether it's cook with them or sharpen them, or juggle them or do other stuff. We have a nice skills video coming up shortly.
Yeah.
We try and do so much stuff because it makes things fun for us, and we hope it makes fun for you.
Yeah. And yeah, if you have any questions, just shoot us an email at hello@knifewear. We'll try to we're gonna answer any questions that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we do? Cover it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the comment.
Okay, we're gonna say goodbye now.
Yeah.
We're getting shouted at from the other side of the table.